Think you know Prague? Charles Bridge, astronomical clock, Old Town Square. But here's the truth. Those are just the headlines. The real city hides in silent gardens, tunnels under your feet, crooked lanes no map ever points you to, and forgotten fortresses where myths still linger. Most tourists walk right past these places without ever noticing. The question is, will you? Prague is often called the heart of Europe, a fairy tale city frozen in time. Millions of visitors pour in every year. They eat the same street food, take the same photos, and leave believing they've seen it all. But here's what they miss. Prague isn't just about spires and squares. It's a city of secrets. Today, we're going beyond the postcards and uncovering the hidden gems of Prague that tourists almost always overlook. Here's the problem. Prague is one of the most visited cities in Europe. The streets can feel like a river of people flowing endlessly past souvenir stands and tour groups. You can't even hear the echo of history over the chatter of crowds. The real question becomes, how do you escape the surface-level version of the city and uncover the Prague that locals know, the one that feels alive with mystery? That's the challenge we're taking on. The secret gardens of Wallenstein Palace. Step through a plain stone gate near Malastrana, and suddenly the noise of the city drops away. You enter the Wallenstein Gardens, a place most tourists never think to enter. Bronze statues of warriors and gods stand frozen mid-strike. Water splashes into still ponds where carp drift lazily. Peacocks strut across the lawns like they own the place. And then there's the grotto wall, carved with grotesque figures and shapes that almost look alive. This was once the private playground of Albrecht von Wallenstein, a man whose power grew so great it nearly shook the empire itself. Today the air feels heavy with his ambition, yet peaceful, because almost no one is here. Vyšehrad, the castle before the castle Prague. Castle gets the spotlight, but Vyšehrad is where the legends truly begin. The fortress sits on a high hill above the river. This is where Princess Libouche stood and predicted the rise of Prague, where myth says sleeping knights guard a hidden treasure deep beneath the stones. Today, Vyšehrad is a quiet park with sweeping city views. The cemetery inside is lined with the graves of Czech greats, Dvořák, Smetana, Čapek, and countless others. Standing here, you feel you're walking through the roots of the nation, where stories and history are braided together. Nový Svět, the forgotten village. Tucked away just behind Prague Castle lies Nový Svět, the new world. The irony? It's one of the oldest, most timeless corners of the city. Tiny cottages painted in faded colors line narrow cobblestone lanes. Flower pots spill from windowsills. The air feels slower, softer, untouched by the centuries. The Danish astronomer Tycho Brahe once lived here, studying the heavens. Today you'll find little cafes where you might be the only customer. In a city packed with tourists, this neighborhood feels like a private discovery. The underground city, beneath Old Town. What most people don't realize is that Old Town has two layers. Floods and fires forced residents to rebuild on higher ground, burying entire streets beneath the surface. Descend below, and you'll find cellars and passageways that once held workshops, storerooms, even hiding places during wars. The air is cool, damp, and thick with history. You can still see doorways that once opened onto medieval streets, now sealed in stone. Walking here feels like stepping into Prague's forgotten double life. The cubist lamppost, it looks simple at first, a street lamp near Youngman Square. But look closer and you'll notice something strange. The edges aren't smooth. They're jagged, sharp, geometric. This is the world's only cubist lamppost, a reminder of when Prague was at the center of a bold, one-of-a-kind art movement. People hurry past it every day without noticing. But for those who stop, it's a symbol of the city's daring spirit, turning even ordinary objects into art. Strahov Monastery Library. The outside doesn't prepare you for what's inside. The library halls of Strahov Monastery are lined with globes taller than you are, shelves stacked with manuscripts that smell faintly of leather and dust, and ceilings painted with grand frescoes. They show wisdom battling ignorance, knowledge defeating darkness. Standing here feels like being inside the mind of history itself. It's not just a library. It's a vault of human thought, stretching back centuries. The John Lennon Wall, at first glance, it's just colorful graffiti. But look closer, and you'll see decades of protest layered in paint. In the 1980s, under communist rule, young Czechs painted Beatles lyrics and peace symbols here. The government covered it over, but by morning the wall was filled with color again. Today, people from around the world leave their mark. It's chaotic, messy, and always changing, but that's exactly the point. It's a breathing protest, a living monument to voices that refuse to be silenced. The Dancing House rooftop. Down by the river stands one of Prague's strangest buildings, the Dancing House, sometimes called Frieden Ginger. Tourists snap photos of its twisting glass and stone curves, but few realize you can actually go up to the rooftop. From here, you get one of the best views of the city, the Vltava winding below, bridges stretching across it like ribbons, and the skyline dotted with spires. The crowds below vanish, and for a moment the city feels like it belongs only to you. The beer cellars of Prague beer in Prague isn't just a drink, it's part of the culture. But beyond the crowded pubs are ancient beer cellars. Vaulted ceilings, stone walls, wooden barrels stacked like soldiers. Some of these spaces go back centuries, where kings toasted victories and revolutionaries plotted in whispers. Imagine sitting at a wooden table, a frothy glass in hand, surrounded by walls that have heard more secrets than most libraries. These cellars aren't just for drinking, they're for connecting with Prague's heartbeat. The astronomical clock, from the inside. Everyone crowds the square to watch the astronomical clock put on its show. But the real magic is inside. Climb the tower and suddenly you're standing among the gears and cogs that have ticked for over 600 years. You hear them grind, click, and move as they mark the passage of time. From the top, Old Town stretches beneath you like a tapestry. Down in the square, people stare up, unaware that the real wonder is above them, hidden from sight. Kampa Island. Most tourists never realize that Prague has a secret island. Kampa lies just off the Charles Bridge, where canals turn the neighborhood into a little Venice. Old mill wheels still sit by the water, silent reminders of centuries of work. The cobblestones are quieter here, lined with small art galleries and hidden cafes. You hear the splash of water instead of the roar of crowds. It's like stepping out of the city without ever leaving it. The Loretta Treasure. The Loretta is a Baroque pilgrimage site, but what hides inside takes your breath away. A treasure room filled with chalices, reliquaries, and monstrances glittering with diamonds and gold. One alone sparkles with over 6,000 gems. These objects aren't just religious. They're symbols of a time when faith and power were inseparable. Standing here, you feel the weight of devotion and wealth colliding. The Vyšehrad legends, beyond its fortress walls, Vyšehrad hides stories that blur myth and reality. Locals tell of sleeping knights who rest deep within the hill, ready to rise in Prague's darkest hour. Others whisper of devils carving parts of the stone walls, leaving claw marks you can still see. Whether you believe them or not, these legends wrap Vyšehrad in a sense of mystery. It isn't just a fortress, it's a stage where stories refuse to die. The hidden courtyards of Old Town. Tourists rush through Old Town, never realizing that behind many wooden doors lie hidden courtyards. Some are lined with arcades, others hold quiet gardens where ivy climbs up crumbling walls. In the past, these courtyards connected merchants' homes and workshops. Today, they're secret oases of calm, waiting for anyone curious enough to push open a door and step inside. Olszany Cemetery. Far from the tourist routes lies Olszany Cemetery, Prague's largest resting place. Rows of moss-covered headstones lean beneath towering trees. Sculptures of angels stand watch over forgotten graves. It's haunting, peaceful, and strangely beautiful. During plagues, thousands were buried here, and today it feels like a city within a city, a place where history whispers through the leaves. And this is what separates the casual tourist from the true traveler. Anyone can follow a map to the Charles Bridge, but the magic of Prague lies in the places without postcards. A quiet street where Tycho Brahe once walked. A hidden cellar echoing with old songs. a fortress where myths linger in the stones. These aren't just hidden gems, they're the real Prague, the city that reveals itself only if you're willing to look closer. Prague is more than spires and beer halls. It's a city layered with stories, secrets, and shadows. The Wallenstein Gardens, Vyshehrad's fortress, Novi Svet's timeless lanes, the underground passages, the island of Kampa, the treasure rooms, the courtyards. They're all pieces of a city that refuses to be simplified. The truth is, you can't see Prague in a weekend. You can only listen, wander, and let its hidden gems reveal themselves one by one. Subscribe for more hidden stories history books never tell.